My friends, last Shabbat at Comcast Synagogue in Manhattan, the congregation celebrated the 92nd birthday of its spiritual leader of 60 years, my beloved father, Rabbi Marc Schneier. I was honored to be the keynote speaker at the Saturday morning festivities. My father has defied the law of entropy, that all systems lose energy over time. So how does one explain his enormous creativity, innovation, and success at his age? For the answer, let us turn to Psalm 92 to celebrate his 92 years. Od Yinuvun Beseva. He bears fruit, even in the autumn of his life. Lehagid ki ashar Adonai, to proclaim that the Lord is just, meaning those who prosper in old age do so, because they do not blame God for the sufferings and hardships in life. Their faith and trust in God is steadfast. Velo avlatabo, simply put, God can do no wrong. My father, a refugee of Nazi-occupied Vienna, was a child in the Holocaust. Only he and his mother survived. The rest of the family was exterminated in Auschwitz. And yet, he never blamed God. He never lost nor surrendered his faith in God. He never allowed the unspeakable anguish and torment of the Holocaust to undermine his faith. In the words of the psalmist, they passed through a valley of tears and converted it into a life-giving fountain. My friends, we read in this Shabbat's Torah portion, Parashot Shemini, that during the course of a sacrifice in the tabernacle, the two sons of Aaron, the high priest, desecrate the altar. We are told they introduce an Eish Zara, a strange fire, into the sanctuary. And God strikes them down for their desecration. Aaron is devastated by this tragedy, bereft by the loss of his two sons, Nadav and Avihu. We are told, Vayidom Aharon, that Aaron remained silent, no outcry, no protest, no lament. And just several verses later in the Torah portion, Aaron is back ministering as the high priest. Aaron had every right to rail against God, and yet somehow his faith survives the test. He is able to go on believing in God, serving the Almighty, despite the tragedy that had happened. In 1945, my father emerged from the furnace of affliction. He refused to allow the devastation of the Holocaust to undermine his faith. And just like Aaron the high priest, my father had the capacity to go on despite personal anguish and misfortune. From the abject darkness, Rabbi Marc Schneier became the rabbi's rabbi, the global statesman, interfaith advocate, the world champion for human rights and religious freedom, and a fabulous husband, father, and grandfather. Happy birthday, Dad. Shabbat Shalom.